that I hate about my CTS-V. This is something that a lot of other channels do, but I like to always give some different information because what I noticed is a lot of the people are saying the same exact things. Now, granted, there are a few things that I don't like that are mentioned in other videos. It is across the board. It is inevitable. You are always going to get these same things being mentioned because of how bad they really are. The first one is the queue system. The queue system is set up like your iPhone, meaning there is no hard buttons to press. Everything is a flat panel that is responsive to your touch. So if you try to turn the volume up, you're using your finger to slide it up or slide it down. You're trying to turn up your heat or turn down the temperature, it is the same thing. It's horrible. It doesn't always work, and the buttons are just not as responsive as they should be. Now, there is a get around. If you use your Apple CarPlay, on the screen, it's a little more responsive from what I have noticed, and obviously if it's too slow for you, you can actually use your phone. The other thing is, you can avoid some of the things that stink about the queue system simply by using the buttons on the steering wheel. So, skipping tracks, turning your volume up, etc. will work through the steering wheel. So, while it's bad, it is not absolutely a deal breaker. It just is super annoying. The second thing that is different than everybody else's videos that I have seen, and the reason I'm going to say this is because I'm a paint freak, meaning I want my paint crystal clear, swirl free, scratch free, as perfect as I can make it. Not a lot of people are as crazy about paint as I am, but I am one of those people. So the nightmare about the CTS-V, and this is only for black, is that the GM black paint is extremely soft. If you are going to do a paint correction, you are going to get micro marring, and micro marring is super annoying to deal with. For the average person that does not have a lot of experience dealing with correcting paint, you are likely not going to get a perfect finish. This car actually has had a 3-stage paint correction. I did not do it myself because of the micro marring, and I just didn't want to spend the time. So I had somebody come do it for me. I said in another video that he thought he could do a 2-stage. The car was so bad it needed a 3-stage, but we still were dealing with micro marring. The car probably doesn't look perfect right now. That is because we're getting ready for the wrap, so the ceramic coat actually had to be taken off in order for the vinyl to stick to the car, and now there's micro marring. The third thing that I don't like about the CTS-V, or hate, is the transmission. The transmission in these cars and in the Corvettes are horrible. I had a C7 Z51 before this car. It had the same transmission. It's clunky. It's super clunky. And what I found out is that the transmission fluid straight from the factory had an issue with creating condensation. And so there were issues within, I don't know the engineering behind it. All that got explained to me was that the other fluid created condensation and that was the issue. So they created a new formula for transmission fluid. That did help. It didn't resolve the issue completely, but it did help. Before I did Crown Rally South, I took it to the dealership. They drained and refilled the transmission fluid. That is 20 quarts, which is a lot of transmission fluid. And it did make an improvement. The other thing that is somewhat annoying about this car is that it has a memory for how you drive, meaning it tries to kind of stay consistent with your driving patterns. After Crown Rally South, I got home, and obviously I am not doing the same kind of driving on roads where the speed limit is 35 and there's traffic. So the shift points were way off. And what we figured out after taking it to the dealership and talking to them is that the memory was still treating it like it was on the rally I did. So, transmission not great. You can live with it, but it's definitely not the greatest thing in the world. The fourth thing that I would say, and this is being nitpicky, is the exhaust is really not that loud. Even in track mode, it seems like it's pretty quiet. I don't think it's ideal for a car that's 640 horsepower that has the capabilities this has. I think it should sound louder, especially in track mode. The one thing that really stinks about it too is that you cannot turn your exhaust to track mode and leave your drive mode in tour. In the Corvette, you were able to adjust the tune of your exhaust to any drive mode. So you could split that. So maybe you wanted to be in track mode and leave the exhaust in sport. There were ways you could do things to make the exhaust loud even while staying in touring mode. This car, you can't do it. The exhaust is exactly what it is to the drive mode. So it kind of stinks and it's not the loudest. That's a little gripe. The fifth thing I don't like is the lift/jack points on this car. It is difficult to get this car in the air. In an upcoming video, there will be an explanation as to why I could not get this car in the air. Mostly that is due to the jack points. There are only two true points. One is right here, one is in the middle of the rear door. It's not ideal, and they're pretty far spaced apart. So if you were trying to use a set of quick jacks that are not the extended version, it's not going to work. The other thing is there's just really no good place to put a floor jack to actually jack the car up. The car is so low that getting a normal floor jack under the very front bumper all the way to someplace where you can jack up the entire front end doesn't work. So those are the 5 things I don't like. And again, some of them are being nitpicky, but I hope that this is information that can be useful to somebody that is possibly going to buy a 3rd Gen CTS-V. And again, everything's livable, but they're just things that you will notice and you might not like. So we will see you guys on the next one. Hope you enjoyed this. Next time we'll be talking about 5 things that I actually do love. Peace.